Hi, everybody. This is Sabrina of the SyFy Sistas, and welcome to another show. We have today a very wonderful guest, but first I want to introduce my other sisters who are in the studio with me today. Everybody say hi.
Hi.
What's happening?
Hello.
So Sabrina, Fran, and Yvette today. Unfortunately, we don't have Tamia here to greet our guest who we met and fell in love with on Star Trek The Cruise number 5. Yes, we have the one, the only, Jayne Brook, Admiral Cornwell herself. Say hello, Jayne. We're so happy to have you here today.
You. I fell in love with you guys, too, on the cruise. So it's mutual.
Man,
It's like, I want to be a SyFy sister.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
We get that a lot, don't we?
We do.
We do. I love it.
I have to say, you were on that cruise. I thought you were one of the best sports going. I mean, you played every game like you were there to win.
Oh, yeah. I know. I was a competitive side definitely came out. Like that first game I played, I was like, bum, 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 bum. You know, what was that first game where you had to guess the name on top of your head?
Yeah, to guess the name.
I got very riled up in that one. And I got very riled up in the one where we were supposed to name the movie, and I would know the movie, and I couldn't remember the name.
Remember the name of the movie?
Yeah.
Everybody was really competitive, yeah.
And I also wanted to give you real props for doing the improv with Denise. I mean, because that was hard. You were just doing that. You were improvising to the episode.
That was like out of the blue because they had been telling me how funny that was and how that came into being. That whole thing about having a original series episode be filmed, be up on the screen while we ad lib,
Right.
And that was, I just went and sat way in the background because I thought first cruise, I'm going to sit way in the background. I'm going to check everything out that I don't have to be at. I don't even know how they knew I was there, but suddenly everyone's going, Jayne, Jayne, Jayne. And I had to go up on stage.
Somebody didn't show or something. And I felt so badly for you because they just pulled you out of the audience.
Yeah, and then she had already organized it with everyone. Like she had already told
Denise Crosby.
People. Yeah, Denise, right. Denise Crosby had already told everybody that they would be doing it that night. And by the time I came up on the stage, it was like they were all settled. And she's like, "Okay, you're the what did she say? Not male prostitute. You're the male. What was the word she used? Anyway,
Gigolo.
Gigolo. I think it was like, yeah, you're the male gigolo. You're all the male gigolos.
Right.
Sit down.
You were
and
all
I was
right.
like, I don't even know who that is. And then that guy came out with his big. The only thing, I don't know. Mary Chiefo was hilarious.
Oh my God.
That night.
She was so perfect with that. They all were.
She's been doing improv for the last couple of years, and it really shows. Like she had so much fun with that. She was really good. Yeah,
she's really good at the
You
voices.
held your own.
Yeah,
thank you. I mean, I did say something about the little weird chiffon scarf. The guy was basically carrying a chiffon scarf. It was supposed to be scary. I mean, it was funny. And he had those weird teeth in. I can't get,
Oh my God. It was Gamers of Triskelion that they were improvising to. And I mean, I have never laughed so hard at that episode as I did that night on that cruise, watching you all just murder this show.
Well, that was now you're reminding me because it was funny. Like now we get into weird stuff, but like when the woman, what are the Lady Gaga? When the
that's right.
When
now
the woman came into the men's cells, it was all about, ooh, we're gonna get some action.
Yep.
But then when Uhura, like she's basically raped off camera.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
That's when I was completely. I was like, not sure what I'm supposed to say about this as the guy.
Right.
That's funny. Like,
right. It's not funny anymore.
Denise came up with something funny afterwards. Like, do you want to play Twister or something like that? Like I could have, but anyway, I was kind of watching, kind of going, what do I say? This is,
Yes.
That's TOS for you.
60s creepy got you for a
60s,
second.
yeah, very 60s.
And
Very creepy.
it's amazing to me that people that never comes up. That she's basically in the episode raped off camera.
I'm telling you, yes.
You know,
And I said afterwards, you guys wanted me to like improv the man, like he was, anyway. And then they said, oh, you could have said that he would have said to her, you want to, like I said, you want to play Twister. But yeah, is that never brought up? Because
Nope.
So funny in the 60s.
I always kind of hoped that she had clocked him with that pitcher of
Right.
water. I thought she did it. I thought she did him in, but okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
It was,
That's what I'm thinking. And that's my
yeah,
story,
she
and
clocked
I'm
him,
sticking
but
to
she
it.
clocked. Yeah, she clocked it.
Clocked him good.
She phased. No,
There's
she
a
never
lot of
phased her,
of
but-
scenes that we all have to overlook sometimes.
Yeah,
just to
yeah,
get
of
through.
course, because
You're
it
like,
didn't
what?
really happen on screen, so therefore it didn't happen.
it didn't
Like,
happen.
that was not the story, but for a moment I was taken out of the improv.
I get
But
that.
I want to know. So I want to know. I'm going to go all the way back to how I know you from The District. I mean, I used to be a fan of that
You
show,
are so great that you know that. Yeah.
and that was my show, and I loved you in it. And then I know you've been in Chicago Hope, and you've done a lot of TV. I mean, your face is so familiar. So
Yes.
how did you get this part? How did you end up being in the
On
Star
Star Trek?
Trek universe?
Yes.
You know
The
what's that was a complete surprise out of left field. Like years ago, I did a show called John Doe. It ran for a year. If anyone ever says they saw it, I always say to them, "Oh, you're the one who watched it." No, I mean, like it was not. It was on Fox, I think. It was in 2002. It probably aired, and I mean, it had really good people attached. Like Dom Purcell played this guy who lost his memory, and Mimi Leader produced it. I mean, it was but. Anyway, okay, so there were two young writers on that show, Aaron Harberts and Gretchen.
Oh.
And cut to, I don't know, 15 years later, I'm moving my older daughter out of her freshman dorm, and I'm in Ohio. She was at school in Ohio, and my phone rings, and I look at it, and I'm like, oh, I don't know. I don't want to pick it up. And then something told me pick it up, and it was my agent, because I saw the 310 area code. So I was like, Beverly Hills. So, so I picked it up, and my agent was like, hey, Jayne, it's Paul, and I was like, hey, Paul, haven't heard from you in a while.
In a minute.
Wow.
No, but he was like, you have an offer. And I was like, I mean, I made a joke at the time, so this is always what I do. But he goes, you have an offer. And I go, who fell out? And then he goes, he's like, ha, ha, ha. It's for Star Trek. And I said, he goes, there's this brand new show that's going to come on the air, and CBS is starting its streaming channel and blah, blah, blah. It's for Star Trek. And I said, human or alien? Like I had all these really quick questions for him, because I had friends who had done Star Trek before, and I knew if I was an alien, I still would have done it. It would have been really cool. But I knew that I'd be like in the makeup chair at 3 a.m. And he said human. And I was like, great. But at the time, it came out of the blue. And I think it's because Aaron and Gretchen, they had known me from those years before and from other, the work that I had done. And they had written an Admiral who was going to be in 3 episodes and then die in that massacre on Cane Creek, when Jason Isaacs' character, sends the Admiral.
Yes. Okay, yes.
So
Totally
I was
set her up.
right.
Set up.
And so the agent's like, they really want to talk to you. Because I said to Paul, sure, that'd be fun. I never did anything like that. That'll be fun. I'll do it. And he said, well, they want to talk to you. I was like, okay, but my answer is yes.
Right.
And so I got home, and what was so funny, they got on the phone with me, and they did this whole long sell. You're going to die, but you're going to be a hero, and it's only 3 episodes, but would you do it? And I was like, you guys, I told you from the beginning of the conversation that I would do it, And
Say yes.
You had me a human,
Right.
Yeah, I was like,
you had me at hello.
Yeah, you had me at, you want to do it? Yeah, I do. And,
you got a part.
Yeah, I got a part, and it's in something brand new. Like
Right.
I was like, that'll be new. And yeah, and then then they didn't kill me. Then on the third episode that I did, I called my husband. We were shooting in Toronto, and I call my husband and I go, I don't die. I get taken prisoner by the Klingons.
That's right.
And he's
baby.
like, cool.
That's right.
And then it really took off from there. From the third episode I was on. So that was when I was in bed with Jason.
Yes.
And then,
oh my God.
I always knew that. I was like, wait. There's a love story here? What is happening with this Admiral?
This isn't Star Trek.
Right. I was like, wait a minute. There's an Admiral in bed. What is happening?
I know. I did not expect in Star Trek for me to have like an underwear
scene.
fitting. I was like, I'm having an underwear fitting, and I'm like,
Okay.
I was like, how about a tank top? That would be nice. A tank top with
I liked it.
with
It's a
underwear.
clue.
Yes, I loved it. Ever since that part, because the Admirals are terrible in Star Trek. They're just worthless.
You know that,
pretty
right?
much. They're usually,
They are
we call them,
awful.
right, we call them Badmirals.
Yeah, Admirals. People
right,
don't
so-
like the Admirals.
Right, so
Yeah.
when you came on, we were like,
Yeah,
whatever.
that's going to be
Because-
another Admiral.
Another Admiral, But then when
Yeah.
you came back in season 2, I was like, wait, the Admiral's back? And you started walking down the steps and telling, what was his name? Leland and Pike, all right, cut your manly nonsense.
Oh, that was like the second. Yeah, that was the
I
second.
was like,
That was
she's here
second
to
season,
stay.
yeah.
She's
that
here to
was a good
stay.
scene. That was
That was
fun.
a good one. That was a really good scene. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, you were telling Looker what to do, and I loved it when you
in
came in
season
with the
1,
bottle. I said, "Oh, she just pulled off that little Delta and threw it on the table." I said, "Oh, she's
Bam!
getting busy." Oh,
Right. I
Yeah.
was like, okay.
That's funny because when I had to get dressed really fast in that scene,
Mm-hmm.
so Jason loves to improv. He
yeah.
loves to not like. He's not the actor who comes on like absolutely knowing all his lines. He likes to have them like on the tip of his tongue, sort of, so that they're. But anyway, he started saying in that scene with Jason, he's like, "Hey, we already know a lot of this information. We can probably like edit it down." And I said, "Jason, I still have to get dressed. Like I'm talking the whole time. Yeah, I want to edit down. Like I'm trying to get dressed." But that you said that, the Delta. I had to get dressed and talk to him, be mad, and go like that, and have it hit the magnet on the inside.
Mhm.
Hard to. We got it, but
Got it. That's good. You did it. You stormed out right.
I did it.
That's how you're supposed to storm out of a bed
Stormed out
scene.
right. Yeah.
That's right.
And
So it works.
another thing you did after you found out that he wasn't the real one, when you phased it, the
Fortune
cookies,
cookies.
the fortune cookies. Who among us have wanted to phase something after you found out somebody betrayed you? And he was the ultimate betrayal.
Yeah.
And you were like, bam, I said, look at there.
Somebody give me a face.
Oh, I loved it.
That was great.
It's
yeah.
like you really wanted to say that SOB stuff, and you just phased the cookies.
Yeah, I loved it.
Well, she knew something from that scene. The third, so she did. I mean, I did. She did like 7 episodes in that first season, and she knew from episode like 2, the second or third one. She's like, "What's going on here?"
Yeah.
And people would be like, "Gosh, your Admiral's so mean to Lorca," and then,
Whatever.
they
Yeah.
realized, she's the only one who said something's
Yeah.
up.
Because you guys, obviously you had a relationship
I knew him,
before or
yeah.
something. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
You
no,
But I
guys
think
know.
I just loved. I think what we all loved probably is because they gave you such great scenes.
They did, didn't
I
I?
mean,
Was
they-
so lucky.
Yeah, I loved it because usually, the scenes, somebody's going to have a relationship with a captain. They're usually really young, even though the captain isn't.
Right.
And
I know the typical thing.
It's so nice to see him have someone
Age appropriate.
age appropriate,
Age
and
appropriate.
because you're above him, you're his superior. Why would you be, a kid?
Why-
So,
I think that all the time when I'm watching TV or films. I'm like, oh yeah, so this gorgeous 28-year-old woman is going to be my heart surgeon? I don't think so.
No, thank you.
Get me the person who's been doing it for
Right.
Give me the old curmudgeon. Where's
at
Dr.
least for
Welby?
20 years. At least.
Yeah,
she's
where's
been doing it.
Dr. Welby? Exactly.
Right.
Welby.
Oh,
Dr. Welby.
Dr. Welby,
Oh,
we're
like my
aging
grandmother.
ourselves.
I don't want Josh Brolin.
Yeah.
Welby.
Dr. Welby.
But yeah, I have some good memorable, like that scene, and I love, Mary and I are always so fond of our scenes together because we really, they cut the scream scene down, but we still, that was a great scene. And then the scene when I go to her and say that whole thing about,
the Klingons are falling
trying to
apart.
remember
You
the
got to
name
put them
of
back
her-
together.
Takuma was a fool.
Takuma is,
Didn't have a clue.
is an idiot, and
Yes.
how does this thing end? That was a good scene.
Yep.
That was a great scene.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because all of the female admirals anyway have always just sort of like appeared on a view screen
On a hologram or a view screen.
Right, giving the orders, and then they're out. Starfleet out, and that's it. So
they even did it to Janeway when she became an admiral.
Oh, is that funny?
The minute she became an admiral, she was on the view screen. I was like, really? Come on.
Well, I guess because they're all on Earth or whatever. But I was really. So maybe Aaron and Gretchen were trying to think of something new. And I also think that writers just they also, like originally they thought, okay, we'll have her in. Because I did very little in the beginning. I think I was on a screen, same screen. And then she has to come in person and then she dies. And then I think their imagination started going and they're like, what if?
Yep.
Well, you sat in a chair.
Yeah.
For a second I did.
Yes, you
and
did.
then I got freaked out by a thing being destroyed and couldn't take it after 3 years of war.
Everybody had PTSD.
Also, I think that you, Jayne, had a hand in that why they expanded the part.
Thank you. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yes, that's why I think that had a lot to do with they expanded the part. Oh, okay, she can handle this. Let's give her some more stuff to work with.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
She was like, oh my God, she was pulling out phasers. She was in there in the prison. She was like dragging ass. I was like, okay,
that's what I loved it.
I mean,
the admiral had. Because she's an admiral, why wouldn't she be able to do all of this?
Why wouldn't I have that background?
Yeah.
Why
wouldn't I have that background? Be able to do all of this, Because she was coming as an admiral from, I assume, sciences, since you were a therapist.
Yeah, because they had that background that she was medical, but she was a psychiatrist, psychologist.
I mean, you had to be the bomb when
I had to be at all.
You had to be because you're coming from sciences and not from command. So, I was like, yes, this is exactly what she was supposed to be. I was never. I don't think anybody was ever shocked that you could do all of that stuff.
Maybe because I sort of figured she could do it all, and then they had the whole history of she and Lorca had been like the top people, in the academy.
And obviously, somebody went ahead of the other.
Somebody did,
and then he gives her a hard time.
Yeah,
never changes.
You don't want to be a captain or you're now administration or whatever. Yeah.
Whatever.
But that was not the real Lorca, so we can't take it seriously.
Yeah.
I always keep thinking that maybe he didn't really get lost. He's somewhere, but I guess he's.
I think that the mere Lorca is gone. Yeah. But you're right.
Like Lorca, we don't know.
Yeah, but the real Lorca, in that scene where I shoot the cookie, the fortune cookies. I say, so my Lorca is dead. But you're right. Like, they say that no human could survive the prison that he was in. But,
you don't know.
He could. You never know.
The Star Trek. People come back from the dead all the time.
Yeah, that's what people say.
Speaking of that, I am sitting here racking my brain trying to figure out some way that we could get you back in there.
Yes.
Wait. Did you see the last episode? The woman stood in front of the thing.
It doesn't have to be Katrina. It could be it could be her granddaughters.
Right.
It could be, something else. Come on now.
Discovery?
They peel a bit of DNA off part of that.
Bulkhead.
They grow another one.
Wow. I want you to be the Brent Spiner of Discovery. That's what. They've had Brent come back as everybody. How many times has he died?
Or Mir. That would be unfortunate for Lorca and Cornwell. So Cornwell comes back as Mir, and he comes back as real, and they keep missing each other.
I want her 900 years ahead. I want your
900 years ahead. Yes,
yeah,
you got to go a few generations.
Yeah, maybe find you on some planet somewhere. Come on, just give me something.
Yeah. We don't know if she had kids or not, so you never know.
Really.
Yeah,
could be a ancestor, not ancestor. Descendant.
Yeah. Descendant. Yeah.
That works. That works because
it works for me.
Because Admiral Cornwell cannot come back. You do realize she stood there and she let off the bomb.
That torpedo made sure of that.
Yeah. And at least she went out saving Enterprise.
She did.
Yeah. She did. She went out in a blaze of glory.
She did.
Exactly what the Admiral was supposed to do, because she was because we were talking about it the other day that Admiral Cornwell was actually the highest ranking Starfleet officer to have a storyline, because Picard at that time, because Picard wasn't out yet.
He was not an admiral. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't out yet, but yeah.
It was not, yeah.
Yeah. So, and you're still the highest ranking female Starfleet officer
to
have a storyline. Yeah.
Yeah, because we loved
That's nice. Thank you for telling me that.
But of course, you had to die.
I died.
I know.
Thank you for telling me that.
Always.
I really appreciated the tweet you made after.
Yes.
Everyone went ballistic because we saw Such Sweet Sorrow Part 2, and we lost our minds when she died.
It was really hard because I couldn't tell anyone.
Yeah.
I couldn't say a word. So I knew for a long time. Like that came out, I was visiting my sister, I think it was like April or June, I think April, but it was like many months.
Yeah.
And people would be like, "Oh, how's it going? Are you going back to the show?" And I'd always be like, "Yeah, you never know."
You never know.
Parts of me might be.
Scrape off
my mouth. I remember sitting there looking at it, and when the torpedo blew and you blew up, I'm sitting there with my mouth open, like, "Oh my gosh, they killed her! They killed Kenny! They killed her!" Kenny comes back, but you know what I'm saying? They killed her. I can't believe that they killed her.
Mm-hmm.
I got so many
Admiral, and I mean
calls.
that in a good way. The baddest admiral around, and they killed her.
Yeah. It was devastating. It really was.
It was really devastating.
Yeah, because
it was effective. Like from the writer's point of view, that's a really effective.
Yeah.
It's like when Ned Stark gets his head cut off or whatever. People are like, "What?" Yeah. But I guess it's very effective when they do a big punch like that, because I think it really did shock people.
It did.
I had friends calling, "I'm crying, I can't," and I was like, "I'm sorry, I couldn't tell you."
Because I was thinking of all kinds of ways, like on Titanic, at the end where the guy, everybody know he could have got up on that door, And I'm saying, you know what? They could have put a chain on the thing, and she, and she could have got in there with, I was just thinking all kinds of ways.
I was like, they couldn't figure that. All them smart people, and they couldn't figure out to pull it down.
I know. I gotta say, that was something that we thought about when shooting it. I mean, Anson came in, and he was very, he was like, "What? I have such trouble with this." First of all, he was like, "Why would I let her do it? Shouldn't it be me? I'm the captain of the ship." And they're like, "Well, you got to live because, you live for another day." Right. So they added that, for me to say that to him. But he was like, we were joking. I mean, I said to Tunde, we've got to film this in a way that's just dignified, because the lever is right there and the door is right there. And I'm pretty athletic. I could just go boom, boom, just
right under that door.
Right under that door.
You didn't even have to do that. Just you could have got a magnet.
And then Anson was like, "Who designed this?"
Come on now.
Anson kept going, "Who designed this ship?" I mean, there's a lever on, but that was the best way to get the punch of the storyline.
Yeah. Because I watched it this morning, I was like, still, this does not work for me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe it would be like a garage door. And if I had tried to throw myself under the door would stop because it would sense somebody under it. See?
Oh, okay.
I just realized maybe it's like, one of those things where it would have stopped. And then it would
be like Anson. Who designed this ship?
That's going to be, that's
ridiculous.
That's going to be the way I'm going to have to think about it from now on. It's like a garage door.
I just want to go back to what Sabrina was saying about the tweet that went out on April 20th, 2019, I think it was, right?
Yeah, it was April.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I actually kept that tweet. It was my... and Facebook, my headliner for I think for quite a while.
Quite a while. Yes,
I think it was until Thanksgiving.
Oh, thank you so much. That's
because
great.
I was so taken back about how much you understood how fans were going to take that scene and how much you meant to us. And please never underestimate that you mean, because I remember when we were talking on the cruise, you're like, you want me to be on this? I was like, you're Admiral Cornwell.
I know. So it's sometimes,
Admiral Cornwell means a lot. I know to many of us, and especially to me. I was in the military, and I'm someone who, I wasn't an officer, but I held a high rank, and it means a lot when they show women. Officers, when they show women in the military who show that they can do what the guys do, because we can and we do. And I just like when they show them as humans too. And I think they did a really good job with you. And you say some of the things that I say to some of my people at work, especially the men, like stop being men for a minute.
Right.
Can we just keep going?
Can we just keep going
here?
Can
we do the job and get your egos out of it? There's a lot of that as being said. And I thought, it always touched me when you would talk to those two, especially Leland and and Pike. And
Pike.
So yes. So when you sent that out, I was like, wow. And then you put the little Admiral Delta on it also. So it made a big impression on a lot of people. So I wanted to say thank you very much for putting that out, because that made your character even more special. Because you get it.
Thank you. Yeah. I knew that there had to be, closure might not be the right word, but there had to be.
It was closure.
They have a bookend.
There had to be at least
acknowledgement.
Acknowledgement is the better word.
Mm-hmm.
There had to be a deep acknowledgement rather than just like nothing.
Yeah.
I don't go on as much. Now, when there's a lot going on, I go on like, then or the cruise or the convention but I sometimes realize that I haven't gone on except maybe liking a few things for a while. But yeah, that was, I was glad to have Twitter in that, because it was through Star Trek that I never did social media at all before Star Trek. And the producers, the producers sat me down one time and I said, Tug Jones thinks I should get a Twitter and an Instagram. And Gretchen and Aaron were like, we wish you would.
Right.
And they were I was like, whoa, okay. Is that why you took me out tonight? So I was like,
script.
Yeah. And then Doug Jones came over to my house. It was hilarious. And we were trying to set up my Twitter account and we couldn't get, he was trying to show me, and then we couldn't get a picture. The photos I had in my computer were too big. You had to have them a smaller size. And then we couldn't figure out how to make them smaller. So we had to go online and find a picture of me. And we found some random picture of me at a castle wrap party, and we just zoomed in on my head and used that for a while. Okay. It was hilarious. And then I got some help from actually a friend of my daughter said, Mrs. Terlesky, you're really bad at Twitter. Can I help you?
Wow. Wow.
So I was like, sure, you show me a few things, but I got the hang of it.
There you go.
Yes, you did.
Yes,
you did.
You definitely did. Yeah.
So now the Admiral lives on in the Bio Trekkie with the Admiral.
I love it. I love Bio Trekkies.
I love this song.
I'm so glad. Isn't it the cutest thing? The little artwork. Oh my gosh!
Song.
Now it goes out of my head. But the wonderful, wonderful woman who put up with me and Mohammed, he said, I'm going to ask her if she'll do some little artwork for us. And she would do it. And we'd be like, oh, we love that head. And we love that hand. Can you put the two together? And she'd be like, oh, but she made that cute little
drawing of the two of you in the Discovery Season 1 outfits. I love it. I love it.
Oh, it's so sweet. But yeah, the Season 1 outfits. But that was a blessing of Star Trek. There's so many blessings, like meeting people like you. Like it's as if a door opened into a world that nobody can be unaware of Star Trek or unaware of Star Trek fans, but you can be, not familiar with really what it means.
And not of the body.
Yeah, and not of it. But so I've met such nice people. And if you can believe, Star Trek is what brought Mohammed and I together, because I went to Duke and he's at Duke, and I went up and stood in line to wait to say hello to him after one of his talks at my second convention.
Oh, wow.
And so I stood in line to say hello to him after he talked with Aaron, Dr. Aaron, just to say, hey, I went to Duke and I was a biology major for a minute. And anyway, our friendship just sparked from there. And now we just keep doing the BioTrekkie. We have so much fun talking to each other. Yeah. Like you guys have so much fun talking to each other. Like
we love him. We just love him. Oh, he's definitely a sci-fi brother.
He definitely is.
Yeah. Hi, Mohammed. I know you're listening.
Hi, Mohammed. Like, he knows everything, and he's just the kindest man. And so that's a blessing. There's so many, so outside the actors, doing things like this and meeting people on the cruise, and Mohammed, our friendship, and then within the group, such a great group. I mean, people talk about it all the time, and they're not lying that it's such a nice group, the Discovery group. My mom used to say, and I've said this to Sonequa, but my mom used to always say, fish stinks from the head down, fish stinks, if you don't get it right.
Right.
And Sonequa, the reason you just literally cannot say enough good things about her.
Wow.
She's just such, and you've all heard this before, but I told her in the first season, before this thing even aired, I said to her, Sonequa, I've been in this business for decades, and you are the best number one. Wow. And I meant number one on the call sheet.
Yes.
Number one. And I said, you are the best number one, you are really a good leader. Because she's talented and beautiful and intelligent, all those things, but she's also truly kind and truly, it's not an act. Like she truly loves people. And from the first day of that Star Trek, that whole bridge were equal people. Like, as they would be if they were all really on the bridge. Like, of course, there's a captain. Of course, there's a captain and there's ranks. Sure. But she doesn't pull rank as a
number one.
Yeah. So she's a great gal. I love her. Yeah. I said to her once, I would be so proud of you. Yeah. This is funny. She laughed because I have girls. I have 2 beautiful daughters. And you have 3 beautiful daughters, right?
I do, yes.
I read that in the bio.
I do.
I'm such a little student. You have a little bio. No, I'm such a little student. That's what Mohammed would laugh, because like when he gave me his book and then I went to Duke, I had his book with all my Post-its and all my questions and all my. He's like, "Oh my God, you've looked at this book more carefully than any of my students." I was like, "On page 3, paragraph 2." But so I went on to your guys' website and I ate it up. Like I read what articles I could read.
Oh my God!
I love it.
Like Tamia wrote about the effect of Uhura on her, right?
Yes.
Yeah. You have her byline that she's the writer, but anyway. I went on and on about the daughter thing, but this was at the very beginning before it aired. I said to Sonequa, I would be so proud of you if I was your mother.
Oh, I feel the same way.
I felt like I could be your mother, and
I feel the same way.
I'd be so proud of you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. We've heard that a lot every time we talk to someone who's been on the show or has
there's not one bad thing you can say about her.
No. Because Anson was saying he was we compared him to him and Sonequa Martin Green as the captains and the characters that get it, and he was like, I am so proud. Thank you, and I'm so proud to be mentioned in the same breath as Sonequa Martin Green. She is wonderful, and was like, that's all we've heard. I haven't heard a bad thing about her leadership. Nothing bad about her leadership.
And it's not like there's some big thing like we better it just comes organically from her spirit. She's very grounded. She's grounded in her spirit,
That's awesome.
And she's full of love. I mean, if there were more Sonequas in the world, we'd have a lot less trouble in the world.
Yes, indeed. We saw it at the rave on the cruise.
Yeah,
the night of Ken Mitchell's rave. That was a memorable night, and Sonequa and all the cast members, they were all fantastic that night.
I was there at the beginning, and then I was like, "Oh, I'm older. I'm going to go to sleep." But
you sound like me.
Good for you, because
I was like, "Oh my ears!"
But
I would wanted to be there for the beginning and all that, and then when they started going off stage, I got shy, and it was so. But I listened to your podcast, and you said she originally was scheduled because I think she was flying out the next morning. Mm-hmm. They were on the side of the stage because she was going to be there for the first hour, I think. And then she was going to go back. Wow. And she said, no, I want to stay. And I heard on your podcast this morning, she stayed
by his side
time.
The whole time.
That's amazing.
Yep. She made sure she was there, And she was sometimes in the background, sometimes right near him.
I'm telling you, she's a great leader, and she knows, she loves Ken. That's another one. Yeah. Who cannot love Ken?
Love him to death.
Ken is the funniest guy. He's the funniest guy. He's just and
just did his comedy act. Did you see that?
Well, wait, his comedy act.
He just did his. Yes.
He just did it online.
He did a sit up. Yeah, he put it online. He did a sit down.
He did a sit up online.
I've got to.
I got to see that.
Hilarious. He had
I'm so out of it. I didn't know that.
It just was like a couple days ago.
It's funny because I heard, and I was like, what was that? I think I saw a Twitter thing on my phone, and I didn't know because I saw his thing came up. Oh, I just did the stand up, and I thought he was referring to joking around on the cruise.
I don't think so.
I'm going to look at that.
Like it was fresh. Garrett might have to look out.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Great
phenomenal.
Guy.
And I was so glad that they got him to, I love that rave, but they had all the characters that he played in Discovery and just, down on the crowd. I still have my light from that night.
Me too.
I didn't even throw it away. I still have it.
Me too.
Oh, how great.
Yeah, that was the best.
And it means a lot to him. Obviously, it's like a circle of love.
Yes.
He gets fed by it. Everyone else gets fed by it. It's great.
Yeah. It was amazing.
I just want to... Are you going to stay? I know that once you do a Star Trek show, you become part of the family. So I'm wondering, are you hoping to do more on, on-screen work with Star Trek?
Oh, so I've always heard that once you're on Star Trek, you're part of the family, meaning you see people at conventions or stuff like that.
Well, that. But I'm saying, why not
I would do that
more?
if they asked me. I would do that if they asked me. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be fun. That'd be fun.
There's a lot of stuff.
And I want to know the answer to the part where you said, are you still gonna do conventions or cruise again, or is that up the pike or what? See what I did there?
I would love to. I would love to. There's one woman that represents pretty much the whole Discovery cast.
Lolita.
She doesn't represent Doug, but and she doesn't represent Wilson, but the rest of everybody.
Lolita.
And I've said to her, she thought at first, because I came from things like Chicago Hope and Boston Legal and things like that. She's like, I don't know if you're going to like this whole world, but it's just like really nice people. And then from the very first time I went to a convention, I was like, this is like such nice people. Like, so I did tell her, like I told her after the cruise, what was I telling her? I was like, sure, if there's a convention or the next year's cruise would be so great because it takes off from my hometown here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not my hometown. I didn't grow up.
We're all on it. We're all booked already.
We're all going.
You're all
on
booked.
it.
Yeah. All four of you, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
all
so
four.
great.
Yeah.
I gotta go if you all are going.
It's going to Mexico. Definitely. This is going to be great.
I would love, So hopefully, I mean, they try to get all their people. I don't know how they work it. Like they get the people and people fall out and people fall in. And,
It's definitely a DS9 centered.
It's a DS9 thing.
DS9, 30 years DS9, which we are all DS9 fans.
So excited. Yes. Yeah, I have to say that I don't know all the, like Mohammed's been my mentor, and he's given me, here are the shows to watch from the original series. Here are the shows to watch from Next Gen. Here are the shows. And, he's told me all the ins and outs. There's DS9 fans and people have I got to say that so far, I mean, obviously I love Discovery, but keeping Discovery out of it, I love DS9.
Oh yeah,
I really do.
We liked you.
That's a damn good show.
Yeah, I really get it. When people, I mean, I really get it that when people go, that's my show.
That's my show. That's my jam. That's my jam right there.
Absolutely, that is the show.
So hopefully, by the time the cruise comes, you have watched enough DS9 that when we get together, we could talk DS9.
We'll talk about, I'm thinking maybe I can watch, 7 seasons? They used to do 20, how many a season?
24.
24.
26, sometimes
26 or 24, one of them.
Yeah, because the other shows were 22, but they put extra ones in.
Just do season 5. You'll be fine.
Just do season 5. Except you guys were talking about, now see, I'm really listening. You guys were talking about season 2. You guys were talking about, was that season 2, Beyond the Stars, that Avery?
Far Beyond the Stars.
Far Beyond the Stars. You don't even, that's 4, right? I don't think you need,
4.
You don't even need to be a Star Trek fan to watch that one.
No.
You can watch that one standalone.
There's something in season 2. Was it The Visitor?
Duet.
I don't know.
Maybe.
There's something you guys were mentioning in season 2.
Duet
is in season 2.
I'm going to watch them all. I'm going to watch them all. So.
Yeah. Well, Muhammad has the spreadsheet, right?
Yes.
That has all the shows
does.
according to how much biology was in it.
Right.
So just grab his spreadsheet,
Right.
Definitely.
But I sort of sit back like the viewer. The DS9, I would like to see it through.
Yeah.
Maybe I'd like to sort of see it through. Yeah.
From the beginning to end.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it has, I think it has one of the best, probably the best pilot.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's still, I think I'm still saying it's the number 1 pilot. Definitely.
Yeah, that pilot is really...
Although, you know what I have to say? The original pilot of the original series with the other actor.
The Cage.
Was with the other actor. I mean, it's
Jeffrey Hunter.
1960s.
Jeffrey Hunter,
right?
yeah.
I thought that,
That's one of my favorites, too. I watched it.
That
was
a
lot.
Good.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And then I read all up on him, and then I got sad that he didn't want to do Star Trek, and he went to Europe, and he died in a plane crash on the way back, and I was like,
actually, he died. He fell.
He fell down
in his head.
Yes.
He fell in his head and fractured his skull. Yeah.
Oh, is that? I knew he died. He died.
Yeah, he died early.
I thought he was a plane crash. Yeah.
He was a big star. He was a big movie star.
Like the next year, he died. Like the next year.
White Jesus. He's White Jesus.
He is.
And, he is King of Kings.
He was King of Kings. White Jesus.
King
was White Jesus.
Yeah, he was.
Yep.
Well,
that was the first.
That's what we call him.
Yeah, White Jesus.
We call him White Jesus.
We don't. Everybody got their own Jesus, just like they got their own Santa.
He was in the Searchers. He was in a lot of big movies. So this was I believe I don't know. I heard that his wife kind of talked him out of doing TV.
That's what I read. Yeah.
It
talked
was
him right
kind
into
of
his death.
in the 60s. It was still sort of like
yeah,
kind of
it was
down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to go back and research him more.
Yeah.
All right. So now
we gave her more homework.
So he played. Did he play? So he played Jesus.
He was
King of Kings.
Oh my God!
The movie King of Kings.
To see that movie, I remember it was like Easter Sunday. I was all dressed up. We went there. You got the book and everything. Oh, it was a huge, big thing. It
big
was
affair.
Oh yeah. It was a big movie.
That's a good movie.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Oh, it was
that
wonderful.
Is funny though. I do laugh at that. Like when they have like a blonde-haired Jesus or something, blue eyes. Like
he's not blonde. He's dark-haired, and he's
blonde.
I'm
like, I don't know where that Jesus came from, but okay.
Okay.
Not
came
the
from
Middle
Central
East.
Casting. That's where he came from.
Central Casting.
Not the Middle East.
Just
That's
like
where he didn't come from.
Right.
But he is great in The Searchers with John Wayne. He is really great in that one.
Oh gosh, this is so sad.
Yeah.
Isn't it weird? Because we can look back and we can see the
I'll give you another movie.
Here we go. The Cinnamon Cinephile.
Right. Sergeant Rutledge. Okay, if you haven't seen this one, this is a John Ford movie that stars a black man.
Woody Strode.
Yeah, Woody Strode and Jeffrey
My husband
Hunter
would know
plays
it.
the lawyer that is defending him against it's the rape of a white person. I mean, this movie is so ahead of its time.
What's the name of the movie again?
Sergeant Rutledge.
Okay.
My father's favorite, and Jeffrey Hunter kills in this one. Yes, it's a murder mystery.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you got to find out who really raped, right?
Who really did it. But Woody's up. Woody was another person that. Only black man that was in a movie with John Wayne, and he punched him out. I know a lot of bizarre facts. Okay, I'm done.
I love that.
Woody Strode punched John Wayne in a movie. I loved it.
Yeah, I love that.
That's awesome.
King of Kings was the first movie that I actually went to the movies, the theater to see. It was my first movie ever.
Wow.
But we had to be like 5 or 6, right?
I was like, about 5 or 6 years old.
I never
remember
saw that movie.
My big cousin took me to see it because I like to hang out with her. She was 10 years older than me, but she took me to the movies and we saw King of Kings.
Right. That was the first time I went at night to the movies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I remember this. It was a big thing.
What fun.
And me being, with me being 5
like
or 6 years old, I didn't even notice he was white Jesus. I mean, I knew he was white Jesus with the blue eyes.
But that's all.
But I didn't put it together.
Yeah.
With him being from the Middle East, I was like 6 years old, so I didn't do that.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't. But now we look back on like, okay, this guy.
Okay, what was that?
This guy's not from the Middle East. Okay.
Yeah. I just had a thought. What was it? Oh, it's too bad. Oh, I know what my thought was. Isn't it kind of sad for the kids these days? They can't anticipate an event like that. The movie's coming this week. I mean, they can a bit. Oh, the movie's opening. But it's not like that thing where you have to wait a year for The Wizard of Oz to come back.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Right.
It's not that thing where you
time.
can only see it in the theater. You can't play it. You got to pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
You're only going to see it once, there's not.
I miss those days.
Well, that's why I like that Star Trek doesn't they don't drop them all.
Yeah.
I like that Star Trek.
You have to wait.
You have to wait.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, you can binge them all later, Yvette.
Well, that's kind of, yeah. Well, actually, because I'm doing BioTrekkie, I do binge a lot with TV. I'll binge it like a year later. I'll be like really behind that curveball. But with Mohammed, I try to only watch like the one that we're going to talk, the two that we're going to talk about. Like I watch it in order so I don't get ahead of myself.
He's waiting for you to do the production part of the show. Because I love when you talk about how it was made.
It's sweet because I said, Mohammed, this is on your BioTrekkie channel and it's got to be about biology, and he's like, I said, you can ask me questions because he's like, you're learning from me, but I'm learning from you. And I'm like, that's great. But, we should definitely make it him the focus,
Yeah, but the one where you were talking about whether those sparks were really dangerous or not.
Right. Oh, no, those things are cool. You're right. People don't like stuff that I take for granted. Yeah. And so he does the same, whatever I do with him, I'm the audience with him. So he starts explaining and I'm like, wait a minute, there's bugs that eat, and then And then he says, "Wait a minute, how do you walk and talk and chew gum at the same time?"
Hey, did you ever talk about those rocks? Why are there rocks? Why are there rocks on the spaceship when it blows up? What is the rocks about?
Oh, they always put like they scatter them on the ground, don't they? You have to talk to set deck about that.
Like fried asbestos? What is that?
What is that? Why are there rocks?
Like, just make a mess. Just make a mess.
Make a mess.
Oh, how funny.
Every time you see the rock, you're like, uh-oh.
Uh-oh, something blew up.
Rocks.
My eyes, I'm never going to do a scene again where they blow something up. But next time I'm going to go, what are these rocks? No, I won't do that.
Rocks here.
Because the rocks welcome Discovery into 850 years into the future. Because when they woke up, all the rocks were on the deck around them.
Right.
All the rocks, the black rocks were there.
Black rocks. Even on the Enterprise, they had black rocks too. I was like, what? How? Just like
how'd they get on?
Anson,
how'd they get on the ship?
Who designed this ship?
Yeah. Where's the hole of the rocks? And only rocks came out. That's so funny. I didn't even think of that.
That was Sabrina. Sabrina started the rock thing. I was like, yeah, those are rocks.
Now, like once you see it, you can't unsee it. So now that's all you're going to see from now on. Anytime anyone blows anything up.
I just see them come down, but they're always on the floor when there's an explosion or.
And who sweeps them up? I want to know. I've never seen
I know. It all has to get reset. So if you have a scene that's like a lot of something blowing up or water or something, you really want to get it the first time. But yeah, and then if they're doing close-ups, well, that's a thing. So they can be above the ground. If they then go back on a steady cam to get like Jayne's close up, Soneqa's close up, Anson's close up, then they can be above the ground. I mean, they can clean the rocks so that we don't trip, but they don't have to make it like perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, with the one that gets me was when I don't know what happened. They lost the gravity or something, and everybody went up in the air.
Wasn't that so cool?
Oh man!
Now I wasn't there for that, and I'm just assuming they were all rigged, and then the CG took out the lines afterwards. I don't know how.
Weren't they on that stage? Didn't they? Weren't they on that stage that tipped or turned?
Oh, the thing that turned around.
Yeah, but they'd still have to be.
Right. Okay.
They were harnessed.
They were harnessed.
Yeah, they'd be harnessed.
Yeah, they were harnessed.
Because
somebody
said
something about. They were saying something about Soneqa had given birth recently,
and then she had to sit in the harness.
And she had to, her center, So
I
just go, ow.
Right.
Yeah,
right. You should see me. I'm sitting here squeezing them.
I know. I'm like, breastfed all of you.
Not nursing. Not a nursing mom.
Yeah.
That's not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a while ago, and I still had a flashback on that.
Yeah, right. Me too. That was a long time ago.
So, Jayne, I know, were you advised of the fandom of Star Trek? Were you advised from your fellow actors of the fandom that you would pick up? And is it all that they said it was or less? Or what do you think of, I
don't know Well, when we started, we were all just doing the show and hadn't been invited anywhere yet. And we all started kind of equal. If I think about it, none of us had been in the Star Trek universe,
Right,
so I never thought of it this way, but I guess we all got introduced to that universe together, by going to Las Vegas, and then it was Dragon Con. And then, so it was really fun for us because they would sort of seat us together. So I guess we were warned or informed, not warned, but informed by the agent, like, there'll be a lot of people and then they'll come up to your table, and we were all informed kind of together now that I think of it. Doug
never
Jones
went to one yourself.
I never had gone to one. I knew we have good friends here who are friends with Bob Picardo.
Okay.
And so
he is hilarious.
Yeah, he's funny. And so I would see him at their house, and I didn't, I would be aware that Bob went on a lot of conventions and stuff, but
he's done a lot of other
things. It's just
things.
what Bob did. Like, he didn't tell me, that much about it. Right. So now that I think of it, we all experienced it together. I mean, Doug Jones knew, because he had gone on conventions with all of his characters.
Yeah.
But,
sure, that's right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Awesome con.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, the agent, I think, just said, basically what she said to me is it's the nicest people. It's families with their children. It's NASA scientists. It's Mohammed. It's like professors. It's people who've watched it for years. And she said, such a nice, like, respectful audience. She said it's not, anything strange.
Well, not to us.
Yeah, not to us.
Not to us.
No, but I found that to be really true. I found it to just be like really down to earth people who just love being together with other Star Trek fans, and they love science, and they love,
intelligence,
science fiction,
and
love reading, love science, love learning.
Sabrina and I are original Trekkies. We started with the original series. I was 11 years old when it premiered, and I watched it from the beginning.
Wow, every single one.
This was after King of Kings.
I do.
After King of Kings. Yeah.
Well, I do remember. I mean, it's like if you're not aware of the original series, you have to have been under a rock, in your life.
Right.
But I do remember it being on the TV when I was little. I do remember, and we would watch. I mean, it was like one of those things that just was a reality. Like, there's Kirk, there's Spock, like
Spock,
just
Bones, Uhura.
Yeah, you just knew everybody.
Yeah, just like, okay, fine. Yeah, like the Three Stooges, you just knew them.
You just knew them. I mean, my family didn't. Like, some people had parents who sat down with them and were like, "We're going to watch Star Trek now."
Yep.
So, and we've had a great conversation here, Jayne, and we love you. But I do want to say, like, so what is next? What's going on now? What's happening?
I don't know. I don't have. I mean, I feel like I'm always busy, and I'm thinking maybe I'll write something, maybe I'll do. I don't have like a definite acting job that I can tell you about. I'm doing this, and it's coming out.
And
but when I do, I'll put it in Twitter. Put it out.
Paul. You got to call Paul.
Call Paul.
I call Paul.
Call Paul. Hey, Paul. I haven't heard from you in a while.
No, I think somebody has to call Paul. I think somebody has to call. Somebody else has to call Paul. Somebody has to call Paul, and then Paul calls me.
Right.
That's so funny.
So you write? Is this a...
Well, no, I mean, like, I always feel like my mind's going and I'm thinking, I'm always like, I'm busy in my life. So, like, what's next is I want to clear junk out of the house, and I want to, I want the kids I'm just like beginning the empty nester thing. And I'm like, okay, let's organize the stuff and let's like get mean and clean and mean, mean and clean. But I've always loved writing. I don't know that I would do anything with it. It's not so much scripts. I like writing prose, so that's why I remember that, it was Tamia, right? It said like she's the writer, but you were also, Sabrina. You wrote stuff on the website too.
I have. Yeah, I'm a film critic, so I do.
Yeah. So you write film criticism.
I do that, and just wrote a screenplay.
You did. Yeah. See, you would think that I would say that is the format that I would work in, but I have done writing classes and I write little prose pieces,
Well, if I was working with screenplays all day long, like you are, when I'm not working as an actor, that probably would be the last thing I'd want to do.
Oh, thank you. You just gave me a good reason and I'm not, thank you. Yeah. Maybe it would be like a busman's holiday.
Smart. You can do whatever you want.
That's right.
Thank you.
That's a lot of money you paid for that education. You do what you want with it.
Yeah, do something.
That's right.
Listen, when you ask your questions of Muhammad Noor, I am just flabbergasted because, I always have something stupid. I'm in the chat going, but what about, and then he tells me why I'm wrong.
All the time.
You always have some great question that he's like, oh, I never thought of that.
Because, I always put what he's saying. Like, he'll say something about, like, the bug or, some of the things now at this moment I can't remember. But he said some pretty astounding things about certain kind of was it the grasshopper that does the different click, and then the female does the call of the other species and then eats the guy when he gets there?
Yes.
I was like, man, it's rough out there. But
and Bugbill, he tells the most hard stories.
Yeah, but I love putting it like when I hear him, I like listen to him. And then it always like sparks my brain into some sort of metaphor, like some sort of greater metaphor, like how that is associated with something else in life,
That's the writer in you.
There it is.
Yeah. I think that's when he goes, wow, I never thought about that.
I tell you, I love you two together. That is just like, I just sit there and just watch them and just,
we have so much fun. We're a good duo,
Yeah, it works together. You guys work great together.
Listen, I loved your little cruise blooper. That was funny. Like, how many times did it take you to do that 1/32nd?
It's so funny. We said, let's just do this really quick. Mom's like, let's do this really quick. And it's funny. Yeah. Muhammad will sometimes be like, hello, because he always has to start it. And then he starts to laugh. And yeah,
it's just totally not going to get
and
to
I
it.
couldn't, and then he says hello, and then I can't remember what I'm supposed to say.
Couldn't remember. You wouldn't turn to me. You're like, what am I supposed to say? I was just in tears. I said, I'm glad to see that, we tried to do a commercial one time, and it must have taken us like hours to get this like 30-second commercial down. It was ridiculous. And our sound guy still had to edit it.
Well, 30 seconds is pretty long. I mean,
it really is.
A minute, it's a long time.
That's a long time.
To keep it concentrated between 4 people, and
you have to rehearse it.
And of course, we can't keep anything straight.
And then one person starts laughing, or you get like 15 seconds in, and somebody blows their line, and then you're like,
Always.
That would be me. Oh my God, it was just so bad. But yeah, I was laughing because I said, I don't feel bad at all now.
No. And it's funny because I could do like a whole Shakespeare play, but I couldn't do that intro. But you get a lot more rehearsal.
Like, a little too much happiness going on that cruise.
That's right.
It was so fun. Wasn't that such a great atmosphere?
Yeah, it was fun.
That was fun.
Really good atmosphere.
I loved when you came into the room when we were going to do the trivia, and Jordan had us all primed to say, when she gets here, everybody stand up and say Admiral on deck.
And then you were like, what's going on?
I was like, so nice. Yeah, Admiral.
Yeah, we were loving it.
You were the highest ranking, StarFleet officer on the ship. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Somebody kept saying you need to go to the real,
Admiral.
Captain,
the captain,
and go into the room and take over
the bridge.
The bridge. We'll take over the bridge.
Or go up to the real captain at some point. And I was like, I'm sure they would really find that hilarious.
Right.
They would have loved it.
Barged in there.
Right.
Hi guys.
Settle down.
But yeah. But yeah, I hope we all are there next year. What fun would that be?
Yeah,
we need you on a trivia team.
Yeah. By that time, I'll have the DS9 down.
There you go.
All right.
There you go.
It'll be fresh in your mind. Okay, good.
Because we're going to take them all next year.
I just think you guys are great. So
thank
you.
We
think you're great.
We think you're great.
Yeah.
And I did my research. And
you did.
I
appreciate that. Wow. Definitely. You want to let people know where they can find you on the interwebs?
The Jayne Brook, the JayneBrook at Twitter, and same at Instagram. Although I've really been bad about. I put up a few pictures. I got to get good about taking pictures of things. So I haven't done that many photos on Instagram.
As long as they're small, you'll be fine.
Sneak was really good.
Yeah.
She's the young generation who gets that whole taking pictures of everything.
Yeah.
That's why I am not the Instagram person.
Yeah, they wanted me to get on, so I got on. I got verified. I posted a few pretty pictures, and then it's like a different language. It's a language of. It's a language that the younger ones and some people, that they communicate, and I just haven't gotten into the rhythm of it. So,
All right. So, Yvette, you want to tell everybody where they can find us?
Sure. You can find us at SyFy Sistas.com. That's SyFy Sistas.com. Join us on the mothership. That's MUTHASHIP. And the SyFy Sistas Book Club, both on Facebook. Download the Trekkies Network app, where you can find us and our family of podcasts on the Trekkies Network. On Instagram, SyFy.Sistas. And we are also on the Twitter at SyFy Sistas. After listening to this podcast, please rate us and write a review. We may just read it on an upcoming episode.
All right. Well, Jayne Brook, thank you so much for coming by.
Guys. Thank you.
Had such a good time with you on the cruise and here, and I can't wait to cruise with you again.
Yeah, me too. Here's to many more cruises.
Definitely.
Yay!
Definitely.
In fact, you were really good at that. You were like an announcer.
I've had a lot of practice.
Very professional.
Well, thank you very much.
All right,
everybody. And for Tamia, also, bye, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.